Hi everybody on Instagram. I'm going to give us a few minutes to get started. This is our episode 20 of If This Canvas Could Talk. And I'm just going to wait a minute. There's my friend Terry. I'm going to invite her to join. But I'm so excited to be here with you all. Hopefully you can join us live today. We've got a good conversation today. Hi, Ter.
Hi.
Okay, we've got a good conversation today.
We do. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to talk about. I have to back up. You know how I always have to be like so you can actually see my face.
Do the same thing. There we go.
Because Instagram is so weird.
Okay, but before we start, we have to celebrate because guess which episode this is?
What episode?
20.
What?
We've done 20.
Oh my gosh, that's so crazy. So 40 weeks it's been since we started. Wow. 40 weeks, so that's 10. It's been 10 months we've been doing this basically. Where does the time go?
No. So anybody that's thinking about doing it, you have a friend, just try it, practice. I can't believe we've done 20.
And it's been so much fun. It's just been so much fun. And our friendship has grown. Our art businesses have grown. I mean, like everything. If you would have told me 10 months ago when we started that we would be where we are now, it's like I never would have believed you. It's crazy. So yes, I agree with you. If you want to try this, just do it.
Yeah, it's fun. So thanks everybody that's joining us. Vero, Kilowatt Fitness. I'm saying this wrong. Stretch.
Cheese art.
Cheese art. Thanks for joining us. So, we've had hi Aussie Mama. She's on vacation.
She's in Australia.
Yeah. She's joining us. Awesome. So, we've had conversations about this because, you know, we're wanting to, like in our notes, we want to produce our art, but if we can sell our art to somebody that makes their home happier, that also is our goal. Buy more art supplies.
Yes.
So we
always buy art supplies.
Yeah. So, and a lot of people are online talking about different types of revenue streams. And our next show in 2 weeks, we're going to have Erwin, and he's going to come on and talk a little bit about licensing and wholesale for some, like he sells cards and prints. And I don't know if he's done fabric yet, but we'll have to ask him.
Okay,
he's going to be on in 2 weeks. So, but today, since both Terry and I are starting and doing this, we thought we'd share what we've learned so far about turning our art into fine art prints. So high quality giclée prints on, you just have to make sure you find the right printer. Some people are doing it from home. A good person on Instagram that does a course on this is Lori Ann Art.
Mm-hmm.
And she starts small, like she starts 4x5s, and then they go all the way up to, she just showed a 40x60, and she prints everything she does at home, but I think she has like a high-end printer.
She has, I think, 3 giant printers in her garage. So for us just starting out, I mean, well, basically how this all came about was that you were originally ahead of me in the mindset of prints and what is possible with going down that revenue stream. And I was just behind in that because I was still just trying to figure out, like, selling a canvas, period, like an original piece, like I just couldn't wrap my head around the possibilities there. But you were at that time starting to follow Lori Ann and really always coming back to talking about what you were learning from her. And then we got on board. I think Tony got on board before me, and then I told him that you were, you know, learning from her. He got on board with learning from her as well. And so she's kind of been like, she doesn't know it, but she's been a mentor to us in this journey of learning what we've learned so far. And she started out using a print company to do her prints, right?
Yeah.
And then now she's been so successful with it that she's bought her own printers and does it at home.
Yeah.
I think there's advantages and disadvantages of doing both, which we can come to later. But do you want to share with them the company that we have? Oh,
Yeah. I
yay!
wanted to say,
Vero said, yay, you did make it. You found me and the talk.
okay,
Yes, awesome.
so does she have a specific question about prints?
Yes, if you have a question, let us know so we can, if we know, we'll share, and if not, we'll look it up too, because it's obviously something we'll need to know. But
Yeah.
we
But
ended up finding through Lorianne, we ended up finding you first. You
yeah.
ended up doing a couple of prints with this company. So
Yeah, so I want to give her credit because she was the inspiration. Her whole business is mostly based on selling her prints. She
mhm.
sells her originals, but her originals are priced, and we'll talk about pricing because that's why we decided to do prints as well, because her originals are priced high. So in order to have a wide range of price points, the prints offer you that. And if you're in control of them or have a good resource, you can keep the quality high. So even though the price is low, the customer's going to get a great piece of art, even though it's a print.
Yes.
They're going to get it, and it's going to be custom because it's not going to be mass produced. So it's still unique and all that great stuff. So what happened is I stumbled upon a YouTube channel, and I wish I would have screen captured or wrote down her name to give her credit. But she actually was an artist looking at different print on demand printers, and she reviewed 3 different print on demand printers, and I can't remember the ones that she decided not to go with, but she's the one that recommended. It's a company called Finerworks out of Texas, and
Mhm.
they're the ones that she felt came closest to the color of her original, and the quality of the paper was the highest out of the 3 that she compared. And they are a print on demand. I'm hooked up with, my website is Squarespace. Terry's is Shopify, and they work with both.
Yes.
Um, you still have to place your order through them. It's not one of those that goes directly automatically. They get all the customer information of where to ship it, and they ship directly, but you still have to go in there unless you assign like a SKU number to the exact print. So I still do a little of the back end work myself, but I'm sure there's a way eventually we'll set it up where it just goes directly to them, and then you don't have to think about it. But right now it goes to them, and then I still tell them which print I want them to actually produce. But
Right.
I think
So
there's a
like,
way to set it up.
yeah, and I don't know how to do any of that because Tony did all of that for me. I
Yeah.
did not, like, my brain just does not comprehend that. I mean, I'm sure if I absolutely had to, I could. I'd probably cry a lot and cuss a lot, but I could make it through. But luckily, I don't have to, and he's set all of that up for me, the back end. But yes, we also still have to, the person will order it on my website, and then I will send the order, or I will go over to Finerworks. They will have my customer's address and where, like you said, where to ship it, and I'll just tell them which print the person ordered, and they ship it directly to them, which for me, that is the advantage, I think, of using a print shop versus printing them on your own. Yes, you are giving them money to print it and ship it for you, right? But my goal is that my art business is going to supplement our retirement and also our travel funds. Like, we want to travel in retirement. And so I don't want to be tied to, if I'm somewhere on a trip, if people are ordering prints, I can just send them to Finerworks. They'll handle the rest from there, and I can go on and enjoy my trip. But if you are printing at home, you will need to wait until you get home and then print it all and then ship it all. And that is time consuming. And so it's like you're paying more, but you have more time, or you pay less, but it takes up more of your time. So you have
Right.
to decide, I think, what's best for you and where you are in your business and what your overall goals are.
And the quality. So
Yes.
the
Oh,
fact that we may not be able to afford a printer of high quality that you would get with one of these like finer works that we're talking about.
Yes.
And that's why I say they are Giclée prints, because they are the high quality on
Yes.
archival quality paper.
Phenomenal.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. Are you gonna, okay, so hold on really quick. So Allie, I'm gonna scroll back and see where we're at because we had some people say something. So, so yes, hi Allie. And then Vero says, I need a company for silk or thin fabric. I don't know what that is. And if you find out, I would like to know, because eventually I would love to do really pretty pillows of my art in a silk or a nice fabric. And then Allie says, it's a lot of work to package. Oh my gosh, is it not?
Yeah.
That's my least favorite thing to do, not to mention the work and then the nervousness, the stress of like, is it going to make it okay?
Yep.
And if it doesn't, it's my fault.
Yep. And Finer Works does give you choices. So I get anything that's over probably 8 by 10 will be rolled.
Yes.
And it goes in a really heavy cardboard tube, and they wrap it so that it gets shipped and it's safe. It won't get bent edges. The smaller ones, I think Terry had noticed that your pricing for shipping was similar to it being rolled. So on the smaller, like 8 by 10 size, she's ordering them to be shipped flat, which I'm going to start doing as well.
Yeah, so I have one here that shows that it's flat.
Yeah.
So so Duckamuck joined. We just were talking about you, that we're going to have you on next episode.
Yeah.
And you're going to chat with us. We're excited.
Yeah, thanks for joining, Erwin. We just told them, yeah, we're going to have you tell us about your licensing and possibly what you've learned with wholesaling. Okay, yeah, go ahead, show that, Terry.
So basically, this is how I ordered several prints of different paintings because I was working out, you know, the lighting and how to, you know, the first time I ordered the prints, I didn't have my editing done properly, and I didn't adjust the lighting in the Lightroom app.
Yeah, I want to talk about that too. Yeah.
That's a whole other subject we'll talk about. But so I was ordering a few here and there as test runs to see and to perfect it. So this was one of those times. And then this is, well, I took them out, but I mean, it came actually in this box. You don't need to see the box anymore. You get the gist of it. But inside the box, it came all attached onto like this piece of cardboard. And then it was wrapped in like this plastic to keep it all. I mean, it was done so professionally. There was no way that it wasn't going to make it to me or my customer, you know, not perfect.
Okay, Allie asked a question, and I was going to start with that because we're recommending Finer Works. And when you first decide to print with them, you can order, they have these paper packets. So you can order this from them, and they have, this is all the types of papers you could print on. And they keep adding different substrates. I think they even do metal, and we'll also talk a little bit later on framing, having it stretched onto a frame and shipped that way. But we'll talk about that in a little bit, because that, you know, depends on what you want to price things at. But anyways, you can order one of these packets, and it has all of their paper that you can print on. And then also on the website, they give you the prices of what each paper by print costs. So the thing about it is that what I found is I would recommend, even starting with them, even though we know they're high quality and they do a great job, you still have to be willing to pay to have prints sent to you for each of your artworks. So the first time you put an artwork up for print, if you want to make sure the quality is good, you have to order a sample yourself so that you could double check that the image that you're sending, and also all the images have to be high res. They have to be high res JPEGs, 300 DPI. So it's hard to do it on the camera. I mean, on the iPhone, you have to run that through Photoshop to get the resolution to be at 300 DPI and then save it as JPEG. That's a whole nother like technical thing. But what I've been doing is I have a photographer that's local, that's a neighbor. And when I'm ready and I have photograph or paintings ready to be photographed, like I group them together, she'll come over, we set them up, and she photographs one right after the other, and I get them all, and then she gives me the raw files from the camera, and that automatically comes to you as high res. And then, like Terry was saying, then you open them up in Lightroom, and most people can get Lightroom and or Photoshop. You open them up, and that's where you have the option to adjust the color, and you want to make it match your original as close to you can as possible. And that's why the sample is good, because your print is only going to be as good as the image that you send to Fineworks to print. So what I found out the first time I did it was that my images on my screen, when I sent to the print and the print came back, they were a little dark.
Yes,
so
I found that too.
And Terry said the same thing. When she got her first sample, hers were a little dark. So what I did is I made sure I thought they were bright and happy looking on my computer screen. And as long as they were bright and happy looking on my computer screen, and then that worked. And then when I got my sample, so I ended up sending to get 2 samples. I think once you kind of get it down and you do your first couple prints and you get your first couple samples, you'll have a good sense of if you have to adjust your images, but you'll get a sense of what they look like on your computer screen and then what you're getting back from Fineworks, and you'll be able to have a good sense of how to adjust.
I agree. And I found that to be 100% true. Like the first time I did it, they were way too dark when they came in, even though they looked fabulous when I sent them and they looked like I thought they should look, they still printed way darker than what they should have.
Yeah.
I actually had to brighten them to where I felt like they were almost just a tinge too bright for regular, but then they printed absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
So it is a trial and error of figuring it out and being willing to, those first few times, I agree, is order them and have them come in. And Allie asked, what papers did you decide on? Because there's so many to choose from. Okay. Agreed. It's overwhelming how many there are.
So tell her which one you ended up with, and I'll tell her which one I
ended up doing the archival. Now I can't remember what it's called, but I think it's just the archival matte. It's just the regular, just the regular, least expensive, almost I think the least expensive of all of them, and the quality is fabulous. But it's very flat. It doesn't have any texture. So like this is these are the prints that I ordered that came back that you can see. They look just like my paintings. I mean, they're absolutely fabulous. And then this is a longer one. So I did 3. I picked my top 3. I picked the one that Jeanette, because she was ahead of me, the one that she's going to tell you she picked. I did that one. I did the one I picked, and then I did a 3rd one. And then when they came in, I just kind of decided from there which one I liked best for my artwork. You know, I think that's going to depend on your style and, you know, what you like as well. I really like the one that Jeanette picked too, because it has that watercolor texture to it, and so it was really just a toss-up, and I may eventually go, I mean, you can switch whenever you want.
Yeah, and I was going to say, because Terry's art kind of has a watercolor feel, although this is a very smooth textured paper. It is a smooth paper, and it's a nice bright white. So when she puts her almost watercolory art on there, it just looks beautiful on there. On mine, because I was doing more landscape work and more textury artwork, I liked the feel and the texture of this. It's called watercolor bright white. So it's not as white as Terry's paper. So again, that's why you got to order your samples, because like this just is slightly, I don't know if you can see that, more ivory than the bright white.
Just a tinge more ivory, yes.
So that'll also make a difference when you're printing your paintings. But I love the texture of it. So now when so my prints are, and also I was going to show you, Terry did a 1/2-inch border. I ended up doing mine with the 1-inch border, I think only because as the prints get larger in size, and your frames get larger, I just felt giving them a little extra a little extra room for framing would make it easier. So that's all. But you can get, but the 1 inch, the half-inch border that Terry has actually fits in a lot of the 8x10 frames that come, whether they come with a mat or not. That you might, like if I got an 8x10 frame, my client might have to trim this just slightly.
Oh, yes.
Frame. Well, with Terry's, with the half-inch, you won't have to trim it. But I just, I wanted it one way so that somebody can order an 8x10, but they can also order, I think the highest I go is 25 by 30, 25 by 38. I think that's the highest size. I did 4 sizes. Terry, how many did you do? Hi, Peter.
I think I did 4 sizes as well. Just to start out with, you know, like, you know, Lorianne, I think she does a lot more on her site. She has a lot more print sizes to choose from. But I just thought like 4 is good for me. And I didn't do anything really, really super big. Mine, I think the biggest I do is a 24 by 36.
That's mine. That's my biggest.
Yeah, and a 30 by 30 square. So because obviously the bigger that you go as well, the more expensive that they are, right, to print. And then you're going to decide what your price is that you're going to charge for them as well. So
yeah, and the thing about the 24 by 36, what I liked about that, because originally when I first started back into painting, I was only doing the small 4 by 5s, and I thought, well, no one's, if someone wants a painting for over their mantle on their fireplace, I have no way, like I didn't have big paintings then, so
right.
I wanted to be able to offer them some of my paintings that would blow up to those larger sizes, and then they would be able to use them to put and have framed and be used over their mantle, and they look
absolutely
beautiful. Yeah, the large sizes are gorgeous. They're gorgeous, Allie.
Yes. And
really
I'm amazed that Lorianne is able to take a you know, 4 by 6 or 5 by 7 painting and blow it up to like a 40 by 60, and it looks absolutely spectacular. I will tell you a trick that I had to do with my paintings to get them to look really good in the print is that I had to, in the Lightroom app, I played with my texture, and I had to take some of my texture, like I think I moved it to a -11 on the texture scale to get rid of some of the noise that would show up in a print, when it shows up in a canvas, it's an original and it looks really good in the original, but in a print it just looked like it was messy. It was an odd kind of look to it, but when I moved that texture back, they came out really, really, really nice and bright and fun and everything I wanted. So again, you're going to have to order some and try and play and do your smallest size so that you're not spending a lot of money.
And Vero Arts asked if it includes canvas, and yes, I started out with their matte canvas. And that's when I first started, when I first offered prints, was because I was taking those 4 by 5s just like Lorianne was doing and blowing them up to bigger sizes. So I wanted somebody to be able to stretch, because you can order these, they send them rolled if you order them, you know, without being stretched, because the stretching is very expensive. But anyways, and then someone could take this to their frame shop and get it stretched onto a frame, and then it looks just like a regular canvas, framed canvas painting. So they do offer canvas. So when you order your paper
also a canvas already stretched, which I did order one. Let me go grab it really quick so that you guys can see the quality. So you continue on. I'll be right back. Okay.
I'll tell them about that. So we, Terry and I, when she gets back, we'll talk more about. So what we ended up doing is basically the cost of what Finerworks cost times 3 is what we put as prices for the prints. I know there's other people out there. We did cost of what it costs us to order from Finerworks, and then we multiplied that by 3. And there are people that are selling their prints for higher cost, but their artwork is also at a higher cost. So this is our first, so I looked at other artists that were selling. I looked at what Lorianne was selling hers for, and ours are in that range. They're not too high.
Yes.
They're not super low like you would find maybe on Etsy, but then I don't think you're going to get the quality of a giclée print like we're offering by doing it through Finerworks. So I think our prices are fair. They're not too high, but this way, if we have a large, like especially Terry is doing her larger size paintings, they're a few $100s, and maybe somebody can't afford that, but they can order that same size as a print and get it for $100 instead of whatever is
$1,000. Yeah. So also in my price, and I don't know if you did this, but I tripled, the cost that Finerworks charges, right?
Right.
And then I also added in the shipping
On top.
that it will cost on top, so that it's all in one, and they just pay one price, and then we just say shipping is included.
I did the same thing, just to make it easy.
It just is easier. Yeah. Yes, it was easier in the website end of it, where on Shopify with a canvas you have to put in the weight of the canvas and the size of the box, and then it figures out the shipping for you and charges them accordingly. I didn't want to have to do that for every stinking little print, and I don't know how much they weigh and whatever. So I just acted like I was shipping it to myself from Finerworks on their website, and they told me what the shipping would be, and then I just added that price onto the price I'm charging for the print, and that's how I came up with the number.
Yeah, and I did the same thing. And then Vero asked, how do you compare to Printful? That's my only experience. So I think my memory is telling me that it was I think it was Artwork America, and it might have been Printful, but I'm not sure. The girl that I found on
America.
Yeah, and I think those might have been the two others that she compared with Finerworks on her YouTube video. I swear, I wish I knew what that video was. I could recommend her to you guys to watch it. But I never did test Printful, because I just started using Finerworks, and they came, and the quality was so amazing that I didn't even look back. So
I did a print from Fine Art America, or which is also Pixels, like Pixels and Fine Art America are like together. Okay. But so I did order one. I don't know about the actual printing, because now I know that I probably sent them the wrong. I didn't send them the right DPI. I didn't make it lighter, all those things. So the photograph is dark, but the paper that it was printed on, you only got one choice of paper. There's no choices for you as the artist. And the paper quality was nowhere near even the lowest quality of paper that I'm using from Finerworks. There's no comparison.
I will say for Printful, again, I think you want to test it, because I think with Printful, they're one where when a person orders on your website, you don't have to do anything. It just goes directly to them. You don't have to then go on and make sure, like, you don't have to set up, well, maybe you have to set up inventory, I'm not sure, on the back end. But I don't want to talk down to any of the, print on demand.
Oh, for sure, yes.
Because I don't know. I never tried them. I just went with Finerworks because that's what I heard was good, and I'm so happy with the quality. So I never did test any others. But if you're not sure, test them. Just send a piece of your artwork, pick a paper if they give you options, and test it, and then see which one you like better.
Yeah, that's very true.
Maybe you do want to do a less expensive print. You don't want to do a giclée quality print. Then you could maybe do one of the other ones that aren't as expensive. So I don't know. I would just test them. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so here is the canvas that I ordered.
Tell us about that whole thing.
So, and this was such a pleasant surprise, because so you can do the wrapped canvas, and you can pick the size of your side of how thick you want this to be, and you can pick what the side looks like. So you can do it wrapped with the actual painting across the side, but you have to do math and you have to figure out, and I just started to get confused, so I thought, I'm not doing all that. And most all of my originals are painted black on the side anyway, so I just went with that. It was easy. And it turned out amazing. So this is what it looks like. And then I did not know that they were going to do this as part of it. If you look at the back, it came finished on the back with an actual hanger on it.
So
It's
nice.
so professional. This is all nicer than my originals. My back of my originals don't look like that.
No, mine
Yeah,
don't either.
Very pleasantly surprised. I'm a big fan of under promise and over deliver, and I feel like that Finer Works really does that. They just over deliver so far.
Yeah. So, but we also talked about that because we figured that in order to price those on the website and actually make some money from offering the stretch canvas prints, that we couldn't get the prices to make sense with where our original artwork is priced right now. I made that decision, and I believe Terry's made that decision now as well.
Yes. Because I called
however,
you freaking out about it. Once I started to go through and I made a chart of like, how much each thing costs and each size and each paper. I'm very thorough with that kind of stuff to be able to make a good decision. And I called Jeanette and I was like, oh my gosh, for a customer or for a collector to order a canvas print from me, they could just order almost an original, because the canvas print, by the time it costs more for Finer Works to do a canvas wrapped print than obviously a paper, and we're not at that price point on our originals for it to seem that it works out. It seems like the wrapped canvas print was almost as much as an original.
Yeah, and now maybe one of those other print-on-demand companies maybe have better prices on their wrapped canvases, so you guys can check that out too. But the shipping is higher, everything's higher. But what I think might be a good option down the road, and Terry's doing more of these really nice high-end art fairs, is you could have some of those printed and bring them to the art fair with you, because you wouldn't necessarily have to pay for shipping. Well, you'd have to pay for shipping anyways to get it to you. So I don't know.
To get it to you. And then the other thing that I thought about with that, having just come back from this fair, is that, and Tony kept reminding me of this because I kept wanting to do it. He's like, but then you have to have inventory.
Right.
So you've got to have the expense of purchasing all of the prints either in paper or canvas.
Yeah.
And then storing them, having them, transporting them. So, and then if you don't sell them right away, you don't get your money back right away. So it all depends on.
Yeah, it just doesn't make sense. And that's, I think, and for some reason on Squarespace, I couldn't figure out how to do a variation to have canvas prints as well as paper prints. So I just, before we had this live, last week and this week, I switched all mine over to paper, because I just felt like it was just simpler, and I couldn't figure out how to do, and I didn't want to do another category. I didn't want to have paper prints and canvas prints. So I just chose to do them all paper prints. Now, I think if you were only offering large sizes, maybe you could do canvas. But I just ended up with, I switched everything over to paper. And Allie said she uses Pictorim for canvas prints. Yeah, send us the link, Allie. Can you put it in the comments? Can you put it in the comments for us?
Yes.
Maybe after the live is over, would you mind going back and putting it in the comments? Because I don't think this conversation gets saved in the live.
Oh yeah, I don't think it does either. I think you have to do it after. One of the things that I want to say to everyone, that this is an experience that I bring in from my previous career, is that a confused mind does nothing, right? And so the more options that you give a collector, the more choices that they have to make themselves, the less likely they are to follow through and finish the sale, because they get overwhelmed and they get discouraged, and then they think, well, now I'm confused. I don't know. Do I want paper? Do I want canvas? What's the difference? I don't know. And then, do I want it framed or do I want it matte? What's a matte? How big is a 2-inch border? How big is it this? How big is it? So you just make all the decisions that make sense to you, and you offer them. That's why for me, that's why I only went with 4 sizes also, is because the more sizes that you offer, then the more that they're like, well, I don't know. Wait a minute. I'm going to have to go and look at my wall, and I'm going to have to, and then they get busy with life, and then they don't come back and finish the order. And so it's like, the easier that it can go from falling in love with your piece of art to putting it into the cart and putting their card in, the higher the likelihood that you will get the sale.
Yeah. And I do want to say one other tip, which she kind of touched on. When you put it on your website, it is probably helpful to use one of the apps that show it in a room, so they can get a sense of each size. So you can have an 8x10 size in a room. You can have in the same room do the bigger page, or so they can see the difference on how it's going to look, and that'll also help. And then
oh, that's a good idea. I think I may go back and do that. So like each photograph, you could put a little text with it that says like 8x10, 11x14. In the same, I think if you did it in the same room, right, so that they could see the differences in that room of the size, that's very visual for the collector to see.
And what I ended up doing for my website, and I still have it up, but I'll probably, like you just said, I'll probably change it over to one of those room apps so it all matches. But I had ordered my sample canvases, and I took one of my paintings, because that was one of those small ones that I blew up to large, and I wasn't sure how it was going to turn out. So I did that one painting in at that time I only offered, when I first put them on my website, I only offered 3 sizes, I think. So I did do 4 sizes. Anyways, so I held up the canvas and did a photo of it. So there is a link on my website that says to compare sizes, click here, and then it's a picture that has them all on there, so that before they order, they could see what they look like. But I think it's just as easy to do it that way with the room app. So I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to, if I forget that, remind me that I'm going to do that. If you can remember too, like I need my paper to write things down again. I forgot it today.
Yeah, I think I'm going to switch mine over, because I changed from that weird size that I had, and I still need to double check this, but I did change it to 11x14. So I did 8x10, 11x14, and then 18x20, and then I went up there from there. But yeah, you also have to decide which sizes you want to offer.
Yeah,
that took me forever to figure that out. But I wanted to offer sizes that fit in standard frames, so anybody can go to a Michael's or Joann's or wherever, Hobby Lobby, and they could buy a standard frame and it would fit into. Of course, as the larger sizes go up, it's a little bit harder to find frames, but that's why.
Well, on Amazon nowadays, you can find pretty much everything, so
True.
Yeah, we have so many more options open to us because of that. Which another option that you have through FinderWorks is to offer your prints with a mat around them. And I considered doing the mat as well. In fact, I had Tony have it all up in the website and everything. And then we went back and Jeanette was like, well, but I mean, pretty much now when you order a frame, it has a mat. They come with a mat. So let that, save that cost of what you're having to charge the client for. Anyway, so we decided not to. I agreed with you on that 100%. Like, I just didn't. That's what having a friend helps do, is when you're running these ideas by, they think of things that you don't think of, and vice versa. It's very nice to have a sounding board to go through your ideas with.
Yeah, I'm thankful for you. So anybody that's on us live, or anybody that watches the replay, if you guys have questions, we will do our best to answer anything we can to help you, you know, because we're here to help share what we've learned and just pass it on. Just like the girl that did the YouTube video.
Yeah.
I would have never found Finerworks without her. Or
I know.
Lorianne with her posting too, and her offering the class. I never did take the class with her, but that's the one thing. I'm okay in Photoshop, but I'm not a master. So I would say to learn exactly, I think it also depends on what you're painting though. In order to take a small painting like that and blow it up large, you're going to have to test that, because like there's, I don't know. I think that I am offering more in large sizes, but I don't think people think about how that's going to look in a large size. And if you have it signed, then your signature gets blown up big, and then that looks kind of awkward.
I'm learning to take my photographs before I sign them.
Yes.
Yeah, I learned that after a couple of paintings and figuring that out. But I think that the larger sizes you do need to do that with, but it's difficult for us as emerging artists to do that because it does cost money to order that large print. And even from Finerworks, for us as our cost to order a large painting, you're talking about $100 or $200. And then what if it doesn't look good? Or what if it, you know, you're out that money?
Yeah.
So I would say strategically in the beginning, start small with smaller paintings that you can have more control over, and then as you sell and you become successful, you can take some money, set some money aside to order a big one.
Yeah.
And it'll pay, you know, your business will pay for that, instead of, you know, in the beginning sometimes we're just paying for everything out of your family's budget.
Yeah, but
right.
Then, yeah, true. But then, like, where you're already doing larger size paintings, so yeah, if you don't mind paying for the sample, you know, pretty much your large painting is going to translate in a large size.
Right,
yeah.
Right. But a small one may not. And I think that Lorianne has figured out over time, because she is mostly 99% of her art that she sells are prints. She basically paints a painting so that she can make it into prints. And I think that she's perfected how to paint it so that it looks really good when she blows it up. So there's a lot of variables that you have to figure out as you go.
Yeah. So you're right with starting small, but I would also say she would be, we would recommend, and I'm thinking about taking that. I thought about taking the course, but then I just kind of dove ahead. But she may be a good resource to take her course that she offers.
Agreed. And I forget how much it is, but I think it's something like $300 or $400. But sometimes paying for those classes, you know, the amount of time and energy that you would need to put into one, research, and then two, trial and error, it's worth that money, because you probably end up spending that money doing all of that anyway on your own. And it shaves off the learning curve time.
Exactly. Now, Ali said Pictogram also sells Giclée prints, larger sizes, and affordable, and free shipping in the U.S. That's amazing. Well, Ali,
that's awesome.
Well, if you try Finerworks, then let us know which one you liked better. Because, you know, I didn't know of Pictogram, so I haven't tried that. But if
me either,
free shipping and their quality is as good, that could be another source for people. So let us know.
Yeah, I mean,
what you think.
Free shipping is amazing, because shipping is what eats away at us as artists. I mean, shipping period on everything is just outrageous. So
Ali sent us the link. So thanks, Ali.
Yes, I saw it come through.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, good. Well, let's see. What else? Did we cover everything we wanted to talk about?
I mean, I think so, unless anybody else has any questions. I mean, that's as far as we've gotten at this point in both of our journeys with it. I mean, we've made the decision, we've decided on the paper, we've figured out how to edit it in Lightroom, and we've gotten it onto our websites. So now I think next up for us is to figure out how to launch them, and to, you know, for me, I think you might have already done this because you're further ahead, but I've got to launch it out and let everyone know that they are available, and then that's going to be another whole subject that we can talk about, of how to you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
get people to go to your website.
Yeah. But I think, yeah, the longest thing is getting your samples, making sure your high-res files are where you want them and how you want them to turn out, so that whoever you send them to has the best quality, and hopefully then when they print them, they match. Figuring
Yes.
out their sizes, figuring
Yeah.
out what sizes you want to offer, figuring out what you want to charge for those prints. And because we had each other, it was
A lot easier. Yeah.
yeah, it
Yes.
was good.
There's one
So
tiny, 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 tiny little
hiccup.
hiccup, yes, with Finer Works that I wish was a little bit different. And that is that their turnaround time is not as quick as I would like it. They have about a 2-week turnaround time from the time that you order it until you get it in to see it. So somewhere between, I'd say, like 9 to 14 days of from order to actually receiving it. So just know that going into it and be prepared for that. Don't expect to, like, I'm going to order this print, but I'm going to tell everybody that they're going to be on my website and available in 2 weeks, because that's probably not going to happen. I would give yourself at least a month or so to get all of this going, make all the decisions, figure it all out, and then, you know, launch it out to your collectors.
And I did put that in my description that they're made to order. The prints are made to order, so it could take up, I think I put up to 14 days before they'll actually get their print. So I think if you say that in the description, that kind of helps give you some sponge factor on that.
Oh, yes, with your customers, but I was just saying for you as the artist.
Yes.
You know, it's going to take you a minute to figure it all out. And Allie said it's the same with Pictorum, but she puts a note, same thing. Yeah.
Okay.
MPix is a lower end Giclée print company with the speediest turnaround. So you're sacrificing a little bit of quality for a faster turnaround, but the quality may not be that much lower. I mean, it's all subjective, you know, so I think that you have to start wherever you can start. And
yeah. But the main reason for doing prints is so that you can charge what your original art should be charged for or should cost. So you're not devaluing the fact that you have an original piece of art that doesn't exist anywhere, that never existed before you made it. And that piece of art is unique, and you need to, you know, price it to fit that unique piece of art. And that way, having prints allows people to get the art that they love that you do and have it in their homes, but not have to, if they're not ready yet to buy an original. It just, having a range of price point is, I just think, a good general business kind of thing.
Agreed. 100%, even though it took me 10 months now to get on board with it, with you telling me about it. But again, everybody's where they are, and we're all processing things in our own time. And so just don't beat yourself up and just take in the information. And you may not even be ready to do prints at all. By the time you get ready to do prints, it may all change and something's totally different. Right. So just take the information, take nuggets out that fit for you, and, you know, mull it over. And yes, it frees you. Having prints frees you to charge what you should be charging for your originals, and still having a price point for everyone to be able to have a piece of your art.
I feel good about it because the prints are, these prints are such good quality that I feel good about them. Like, they're still going to get something that looks almost like your print one, and your print ones, they look almost like an original piece of art. Like, it's hard to tell.
She didn't know that canvas wasn't, she thought it was real. And I was like, no, that's a print. And she was like, no way. And she had to, like, feel across it. And she was like, I never would have known. And you're right. You want to be proud of what you are putting out there, whether it's an original or whether it is a print. Because for me, I feel like I'm sure everyone that we're talking to has been in a place in your life where you wanted something that was out of your budget, and then when you got something that was less, that was supposed to be like it, you could tell that it wasn't the original, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so with Finer Works, I feel like that is minimal. Like, it's really, they're still getting an incredibly beautiful quality print that they will be happy with, and they won't feel like, oh, well, I just have a print, I don't have the original. You know what I mean?
Yep. And I also want to say we have no association with either Lori Ann Art or Finer Works. But what I will do, I did put Lori Ann's Instagram name in the chat, in the comments. But what I'll do when I post this after we end this live, I'll put I'll put their Instagram handles, and I'll put Lori's in, and I'll put Finer Artworks in there. And yeah, we have no association with them, but we're just telling you guys what we found.
Yeah, yeah, it's 100% just our truth of our experience and what we've done so far. And so, but you know, if they want to give us a little shout out, we don't mind. No.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, but I think they're both of the Lori Ann's class and her, you know, she's been doing it for a heck of a lot longer, and that's her main source of business. So she's got it down. So I think if anybody you take a course from, she would be a good one.
Yeah, agree. And eventually we'll get there too. So yeah.
Okay.
I think we're at time. I haven't even looked, but it feels like that we're at time, or we're a little over.
Yeah, I think so. Let me see. What does it tell me? I don't know.
It's 2:51, so we're at 51 minutes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so we better go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, everybody, thank you for joining us live on our 20th episode of If This Canvas Could Talk with Jeanette Bergstrom and Terry Wilson Art.
And don't forget, 2 weeks from now, mark your calendar, because we're going to be talking with
Erwin
at Duckamuck Erwin, and he's going to be sharing with us all about the next avenue that we can learn about, which is licensing and wholesale.
Yeah.
So
I know
there's so much available to us. It's so exciting.
He went to a wholesale show where you have the buyers come around and order for their stores. So yeah, he did one of those shows. So we'll hopefully hear some good insights on what he found and what he learned.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Thank you, Allie. We feel the love. Sending it back to you.
Bye, everybody. Thanks again for joining us. Watch the replay. If you watch the replay, put like hashtag replay in the comments so we know that people are watching our replays. Okay. Bye, everybody. Hope you got some good info. Bye.